Do not adjust your televisions. Megan Sparkle is indeed in the building. What is up, guys? Welcome back. Lately, I've been getting a lot of requests to compare two brands specifically, and that is Makeup by Mario and M Cosmetics. And unless I had gotten all of those comments, I'm not sure I would have intuited how similar a lot of their products are. They have really beautiful, super blendable cream bronzers and blushes, some gorgeous neutral eyeshadows, some really pretty lip formulas, and I have compared them one at a time in different videos, but it's you guys who pointed out the fact that it's probably something just worth comparing in a video. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I pulled everything that I love, basically, from both brands, and they are in this bin here. And it does include the brand new collection from M Cosmetics. I got the lighter, fairer persuasions of all three products. I got the lighter blush, the lighter RODIN, I want to say, Divine Skies eyeshadow palette, and then also the lighter lip color. And if there are things that are in one that aren't in the other or something like that, we'll just wing it. It's not going to be super duper scientific, and it's not really so much, as it never is on my channel, about one winning. This isn't some kind of like, you know, face-off showdown gauntlet, you know, because I love both of these so much. It's more to me about showing you guys the differences and being able to see them side by side, and honestly, showing myself the differences because I don't know either. I'm gonna move y'all in and we're going to jump right on in. This is another Carolina K number, this dress. But this is rented, Rent the Runway. I'm not spending money quite that quickly. It's just a rental. So enjoy her while she's here, but my God, is it gorgeous. She's like my favorite designer right now. Loving it. And then this is a little Lily Sadoogie thing that I got on sale last year around my birthday because I wanted to feel like a prawn sauce on my bar thigh. All right, the first thing I'm gonna put on, since I already have my skin prep on and everything, I realized we have not actually put just this on my face so far. So this is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Light Revealer Natural Skin Illuminator in OW1 Pearl, and I enjoy it so much, and you wouldn't know by how much I don't put it on camera, so I like it very much. Super, super lightweight. It actually feels a lot like the In Beauty Face Glaze to me. How thin it is, but it does have more blurring, more coverage. Obviously, because it has shades. And it does have chemical sunscreen in it, and it has a little bit of like a very faint sunscreen smell, like if you're sniffing for it kind of thing. But it does not have octinoxate in it. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Look at that. It looks like my skin, but literally just better, you know? It does such wonders, such wonders. And that's on top of my Tula sunscreen, which also has a little tiny bit of like blurring to it because it has a gold reflection. I'm so psyched to do this video. Like, this is literally two of my favorite brands. I am pumped to see how it compares. I will try and make my face something wearable by the end of the video. You know what I mean? I don't want to end up with like my cheeks two very obviously different colors. And that's why it might not be incredibly scientific, but that's my disclaimer for today. Look, know better, do better, okay? And this is the Item Beauty Concealer in 110, and I am just really enjoying it. Whoever Addison Rae is. We don't have to know the names of the people who own these companies in order to enjoy their products. I just like this concealer. It's a great shade match. I have been confusing the diggity dog out of my skin lately. It's got a lot of little micro zits and stuff because I've been trying so many different things lately, so many different faces of makeup, and then I wash my face and then I try on like a different moisturizer or something because I don't want to use my good moisturizer if I know I'm gonna wash it off. I also feel like our weather has been different every single day. I will dress for spring because it's 60 degrees outside one day, and then today we woke up and all the trees are coated in a layer of glassy ice. And every once in a while, you'll just out of the corner of your eye see a branch just crash down because it's being weighed down by ice. So yeah, like I always say, it's a laugh a minute around here weather-wise. Come on with that concealer, that TikTok money. You get my money. And there's something really nice about that Laura Mercier. You kind of feel it grip. And you can feel when you put the concealer on top of it, you feel the concealer grip onto it. It has pretty darn good wear time for being just a normal skin tint. So that's the complexion situation we're starting out with here. We might go more, but I just want you guys to really be able to see what we're working with. Man, I'm working on my old computer right now because I don't have the proper cable. The new one does not have regular USBs on the side of it. Every single time I buy a new computer, she says, having not bought a computer in 10 years, they take something else out of it. You know, it's like, no disk drive, no USB. And like all Gen Z is like, what's a disk drive? Yeah, I'm lucky that there's still an SD card slot on the side of my new one, but I have to buy adapters for a USB 3, I think is what it's called, for the side of this one. So now I'm working on this one, but I exported a 4K video yesterday in under an hour. It used to take like 6 hours on this computer. God bless her. But on the new one, I mean, it's like, zoom, you're done. Look at this high quality crispness. It's like crispness Christmas. Let's start with bronzer, shall we? I'm gonna start with Makeup by Mario, and I'm gonna do it on the right, because there's an R in right and an R in Mario. That's my airtight reasoning there. This, if this is your first video of mine that you're seeing me use this, I really like fell back in love with this product fairly recently when I kind of used it wrong. I was showing that something this warm doesn't really function very well as a contour because it kind of, the warmth of it kind of distorts the shape of my face. But as I was using it, I was like, that still looks bomb.com. You know what I mean? Just move it up a couple of millimeters and like, it's still just an absolutely gorgeous, agreeable formula and really such a great color. It's the right amount of warmth that looks really, really healthy on my skin. And I love the blendability of it. Another thing here, and the reason that, another reason I guess, that these are really, really relevant to compare is just that they're really similar in price point. You know, they're both generous, and not the least expensive things in the world, but generous amounts of product for what you're paying. And they both have pretty similar shade ranges. Mario does not yet have a complexion range, and I would argue neither does Michelle. 6 shades a foundation range does not make, but that is why I won't be using that one today. Obviously, I put something else on. But, oh my Lord in heaven, that is a pretty, pretty bronzer. I like that so much. And yeah, this was a very specific one that you guys requested. You were like, So Soft bronzer versus Makeup by Mario bronzer. And I was like, I'm just gonna take that torch and run with it. All right, and I'm placing that on the right so that I remember. So I have this in the shade Summer. I wanna say I only have one shade in this. I hunted. This was the only one that I found. I hope it's the right one. It has a little tiny bit of glitter in it, and you can see it's darker and redder, but like I have no idea if this is the lightest one. This is 8 grams of product. This is 10.5 grams of product, and they're priced fairly similarly, I wanna say, but both quite generous. And I will just go ahead and say it. Her formula is so soft. It's a little bit more silicone-y feeling, a little bit more silicone than like creamy, the way that his is. His probably does have silicones in it, but it's like almost feels a little bit more, you see how it's more dewy and this is a little bit more matte? It's because it's just a little bit more dimethicone in this one and a little bit probably more like waxes in this one. But that is very valuable insight. I've already learned something in this video. That makes me happy. Ooh, but both of them are beautiful. And this brush that I'm using, this is the BK 105. Online, it does not look as big as it is. It is massive, and it is so good for really, really blending out a cream product without too much fuss, and also without as much risk of removing the product because you're not swiping as much. It's almost just like a little dabby motion because it's like a gigantic brush sponge, basically, because it's so densely packed. Okay. Yeah, you can already see a slight difference there, just the shades and the finishes. So I'm going to be agnostic with my contour, and I just pulled out Biscuit from Westman Atelier. You know, it's something that I use all the time with either of these, and I'm gonna be pretty like low key with this because I don't want to overly obscure the results or the visibility kind of, you know, of what the other stuff is that we're actually testing, but I do feel incomplete without a little bit of contour on. Where is my fave contour brush? There she is. BK106. A lot of people have been asking me recently, and I knew that they would because I didn't make it very easy to find. But a lot of people are like, hey, what BK brushes do you use and for what? And I snuck that in, like a whole download of that, at the end of my second best of the best video. Not that these are second best of the best, it just felt like an opportune time to do it. I don't know why. And if you go to that video, go to the end, you can see a breakdown of every brush and what I use it for. Blush time. I have two blushes from Makeup by Mario. I have Dusty Rose and Plumberry. And I feel like I'm gonna kind of be limited in that area, and so I'm gonna start there and try and kind of shade match with the ones that I have from Cosmetics. So I have Bitten, which is quite red. I have Lychee, which is quite peach from M. And then I have Venetian Rose, which is, you know, quite perfect all the time. Ew, it's got a little fuzz stuck to it. And that is just like this really beautiful nuanced Venetian Rose color. And that looks fairly similar to Dusty Rose, so I think that might be where we start. I'm not going to apply this directly to my face because I feel like it's gonna kind of pick back up, so I'm just gonna take a BK 101 and, right, this is right, Mario, got it, okay. Dibby dab. Beautiful. Quite pigmented, same dewiness factor. My child rolled his eyes at me this morning. He did it twice, but the second time was more effective. He threw his toy on the ground. It was like this adorable sloth. And I said, be nice. His name is Beto. I said, be nice to Beto. And he goes, I was like, you're 17 months old. Who do you think you are? Little sass monster. They learn so much being around kids of different ages and stuff at daycare. There's one kid that can actually talk. Most of them can't, but he's like the oldest in their class. He's like about to graduate basically to the next class. And apparently every time my husband drops him off in the morning, he goes, Simon! Like Simon can't even say his own name, but this kid like says his name every time he sees him. It's a cool age, man. They learn so much so fast. All right, Venetian Rose time. All right, so that's actually quite a bit more berry undertone, so I think I can layer a little bit of that berry color and we might be able to split the difference. But okay, that's a really, really good thing to note that I don't think I would have noticed had I not done this experiment, and that is how dewy and sheer this is, even though they are, you know what I mean? That's not like a jelly looking, like a water blush or something where you can like almost see through it. It still has opacity to it, but it goes on the skin so much more sheer and dewy. And then this almost looks like a powder by comparison. But she made them really soft. Promise I won't belabor that, which makes them really spreadable, you know, versus things that kind of start as a liquid and then dry down to a powder and then they'll kind of like muck up and pick stuff up. Hers is a really, really great hybrid. I think maybe another relevant comparison would be something like the So Soft bronzer versus the Rare Beauty bronzer, but the Rare Beauty bronzer would be even more dimethicone-y, powdery finish. I mean, it doesn't have any wetness to it really at all. It just happens to be in a stick delivery system. This does still behave more like a cream than that. It just looks like a powder on the skin. That's valuable insight, isn't it? All right, so just to kind of see if I can match that, I'm going in with Plumberry, such a pretty color, from Makeup by Mario over here, just to try and match up the appearance a little bit. Try and make it a little bit apples to apples. Glitter haunts me. From whence, I do not know, but it just is what it is. That's, you know, more or less, like you wouldn't necessarily call out like she's wearing two different blushes, right? And they will both chill. It's kind of like when you put a bunch of dry shampoo in your hair, you just kind of have to wait. We're just gonna wait on my cheeks. Okay, what else have we? I do have a powder bronzer from Makeup by Mario, and I don't have a powder bronzer from her necessarily, except that the new one, the Heaven's Glow Blush in Baroque, I put it on and it's kind of like a bronzer. And look, this one's matte and this one's a little bit more shimmery. Maybe they'll kind of even the texture out if I just sort of tippy tap. What say we tippy tap? Let's go in with Baroque first. Tip, 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 tap. Tip, 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 tap. And I know you're not gonna be able to really see the shade super well there. I'll swatch them. I think this is my favorite one though, so far. It's such a good, it's a good color and it's not anywhere near as shimmery as it looks. And then this guy, what a pretty formula. My son, he thought so too when he opened it and scratched his little nails in there. And this will actually help to set that a little bit because it's quite dewy. A little bit less technology, you know? But that's okay. It's a really, really beautiful look. I do think that I'm going to go in, you know what? No, I'm not, because I don't like this very much. I just don't like it that much. The Opal highlighter from Makeup by Mario is just too icy and too glittery. It's just not an elegant highlighter to me. So we're gonna skip to the fun part, and that is the eyeshadow comparison. So here I have, where did the eyeshadow palette go? I buried it under other things. I have the 4Play Everyday Quad in Nude 1 from Makeup by Mario, and she looks like this. And then I have the brand new Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in RODIN. Oh, I never blended that. I bet that's been killing you guys. Looking like I have a little flavor saver. Sorry about that. Any better? Sorry. And it looks like that. Wow, those are really similar. In fact, let me do a little swatch party here and I will fast forward. Okay, so I said that I was going to swatch those two like bronzers next to each other. So this is Baroque from the new Cosmetics, and then this is the Makeup by Mario powder bronzer in light. And then here we have the eyeshadow swatches. So the top four are the 4Play Everyday Quad from Makeup by Mario, and then where it starts getting kind of, you know, a little less organized, that is the Cosmetics, the new one. So you can see they're not just similar in like finishes, but also in temperature quality, right? I mean, we're talking like these two are practically identical between the two palettes. And it's just that really beautiful nuanced like rosy color. And then like those two are very similar except different finishes. You could get really similar looks out of these, but let's put them on so we can see exactly how much saturation and like foil we can get out of those textured shadows. That might be the thing that makes all the difference. All right, I'm going to start with that very similar shade that they both have. That kind of medium lavendery mocha kind of color. And that's going to be my very pretty traditional transition shade here. In case you couldn't tell. I tend to gravitate towards these colors. They exist a lot of places in my collection because they're very at home on my skin. Everything with like a little bit of lavender in it or a little bit of like a berry tone to it kind of always comes back towards like a tan on me because it like cancels out the purple. So that's why everything kind of looks like it's the same color. It's not the same color. It's just like, it's kind of like when you're in a drawing class and you have to draw a model. And let's say you're uncomfortable drawing noses, you'll kind of like unwittingly give them your nose because you're comfortable drawing your own nose or more comfortable drawing your own nose. So it's like if their nostrils or their bone structure or something like that just kind of throws you for a loop, you will like not realize that you're defaulting back to sort of adding your own features in to smooth it out. And that's kind of what I do sometimes when I check out when I'm doing my makeup, is I just like lean back towards these like comfortable colors. And that's what all of these are really. Building that shade. Nice little buildability there just to get the illusion, but without like pulling a different color out. Grabbing that same brush because I don't care, and I'm dipping into its kind of partner shade over in this one. Quite pigmented. Quite pigmented, the Cosmetics. And I think that, especially because she went ahead and did two variations of this, I want to say the other one is not just more saturated and deeper, but it's also slightly warmer, a little bit more red in there. The saturation value is going to kind of cover the same distance probably, or a comparable distance to how the 4Play Everyday Quad comes in 3 colorways. And of course, anybody can wear any of them. It's both preference and also trying to just, you know, accommodate ease. I always say the easiest colors to work with are usually the ones that are the closest to your skin tone because they're the ones that blend in the easiest. But yeah, I do like that even though hers are quite saturated, it's like once you kind of get your head around that, they blend really easily. So it's like you can wash them. Once you place them on the skin, it's not like they've stamped and then you're done. Very, very easy. I've always really, really been impressed with her eyeshadow formula. The mattes especially, they're just very, very easy and creamy and just really high quality feeling, luxurious feeling. And I think that where they differ, just to my eye, is that hers are going to be a little bit more foily. That's just what I would guess. And then this shade right here is actually like a celestial, and he doesn't have that in his. And it really is almost translucent on my skin and then adds just a really nice kind of sparkly topper. It's got a little bit of pigment to it, but it's not as like, I don't know, richly foiled as it looks like it's going to be in the pan. All right, I'm gonna change my battery real quick so that we don't have a disruption. I want you guys to be able to see everything. Go, 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 dog, go. But do we really wanna stop? No, 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 so let's go, 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 dog, go. My child only watches one show. Okay, I am just going to commence with the good part here. And that is taking this, I mean, the velvetyness. Ooh, you know what that reminds me of? Is the James Malloy formula. Is this gold? I did finally get all three. That's the rose gold. Where's the regular one? This does really remind me of that James Malloy formula though. That like really, really rich, beautiful brown. Anyway, Cosmetics, here we go. Yeah, that's, oh, just so pretty. Before we do any blending or anything, I just want you guys to see Makeup by Mario's brown, and they're not going for the same thing. This is a different texture of shadow, but we might arrive at the same place. It's a little cooler toned, doesn't quite have the same gold reflection to it, but then there's also like a gold in here, so. Both great for brown eyes. Super, super, super easy to work with. And I might not have built that one as much, but it doesn't, it's a thinner feeling formula because it doesn't have all that like emollient shimmer to it. Before I put a topper on from both sides, I'm just gonna kind of blendy here. And I will clean up with some more concealer. I haven't powdered or anything other than the bronzer, so. I'm gonna grab a little bit of brown from each palette. Well, there's only one, see, this is where the limitations exist, right? There's only one that has a really deep matte brown, and that is the Cosmetics. So I'm gonna use that over here and blend a little bit more into the crease. But we're losing the foil when I do that, so. A little more foil, and then I'm going to grab more of just the regular brown that I used and do the same thing on this side. Just see if we can make them look similar. I mean, let's be real. None of the colors that I end up using, unless it's like right on the top of my lid, end up being what's truly in the pan anyway, because I blend everything to death. So, you know, you can pretty much accomplish like what you can dupe the vibes, to quote HLP, of a lot of my looks with things you already have, because I don't necessarily think that like the uniqueness of a shade is always highlighted in my looks. I am going to highlight my brow bone here with the kind of warm, creamy, white matte color in the Makeup by Mario, but there isn't one really like that in the Cosmetics, so I'm going to grab instead this kind of satin one that's similar, but a little bit darker. But it really gets the same job done. I would say those look more or less similar. And then I'm going to finish with the topper shades in each of these. So that's the M Cosmetics one. Holy mackerel, it's very shifty. It gives you a lot of pinks and browns and golds and stuff in the light. Boy, that might just be the difference maker for you, you know? That's a unique enough shade to sell me a palette. And then this one, which I don't think he was necessarily going for, you know, blinding, see it from a satellite in space. With this palette is more about an everyday quad. That's why it's called an everyday quad. Not that I wouldn't wear that every day, I would. But yes, therein lies the departure, doesn't it? So let's do a little cleanup here. I like what we ended up with. I'm just gonna take from each one a little bit of their respective like shimmery brown and go underneath here. Like that. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of my concealer here. I don't wanna go too bright because it can make you look really, really made up really fast. That is what I don't wanna do. I really wanna maintain this medium effort kind of look. You know, it's not no makeup, but I also don't want it to shift into a full beat either. All right, I'm going to zoom through my brows, my eyeliner, and my mascara real quick. Chills. I think I'm going to powder just a touch with like maybe the Kosas. Grabbing a little brush here, my Extinct Wing Goss brush. Hello? Okay. Every once in a while, just kind of make sure my microphone works and you know, all this work isn't for nothing. I am also going to add a tiny bit of highlighter like on my inner corners and such. Neither of them really has a very, very like ideal shade for me that's like icy enough. So I will be using my Beauty Pie if I can find the brush there it is. And this is a little Quo brush that unless you live in Canada, you've probably never even heard of Quo. It's like a teeny tiny cream brush. And I just boop, 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 boop. Right there. I always kind of leave a little space just for that. And then we'll do a little brow moment. I'm gonna use my Beauty Pie Archology just to get a little definition. My kid is really into screaming today. And I mean, not like angry screaming, just having himself an outdoor voices while indoors type excitability moment. When I say, I feel pretty, this is just such like a fun face of makeup for me to play with because these are all products that I reach for on a daily basis because they're just so easy and flattering. And now all that's left to do is lips. Now this is also where things kind of depart because yes, these are very similar formulas. Makeup by Mario's new Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serum. I have it in Mauve Glow. And the new M Cosmetics Lip Cushion Tinted Luminizer in Mona Lisa, they're not the same color. Mona Lisa is a lot more, what would you say, tan? Tan beige? And Okay, they're more similar than I thought, actually. And then the Mauve Glow is this one, and this has got a little more mauve to it. Yeah, okay, those are pretty similar. I mean, not completely similar, but similar enough. I'll apply them side by side, and then we'll just blend them together because it probably won't matter anyway. I'm gonna start with my lip liner. I say my lip liner, Thrive lip liner in khaki. And I have used both of these without it. I just prefer it with it because this is just like, you know, it's one of those colors that it goes with everything, and it definitely goes with this face of makeup. So it's like so close to being done. And we go Mona Lisa on this side. Absolutely gorgeous. Just so beautiful. And then the Mauve Glow from Makeup by Mario on this side. And it's tingly, so love that too. Plum thing. Glossier, a little bit darker, just like cooler toned. I'm gonna give her a little spritz here, just lightly. And I think the one thing that I'm really missing here is a little bit of blush on my nose. I'm gonna go Dusty Rose. Dusty Rose, right on my nose. There we go. I have nothing without a little bit of nose blush. Okay, I'm gonna move y'all out for a look at the whole vibe, and we will chat final thoughts. Cause I got some. She's feeling cute. Yeah, this is a lot of things that I love on my skin all at once. It's very nice. So I think that the thesis statement here is you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong here. But as far as like the actual appearance of each one, there are subtle differences, right? I would say that the Makeup by Mario overall is more subtle than the Cosmetics. And it's not because I was heavier handed or anything like that. Her shades and her formulas are just a little bit more high impact. They have a little bit more saturation to them. They have a little bit more glow to them. And they're all intended to be a little bit more texturally visible at a distance, let's say. Makeup by Mario, I feel like this is, I mean, if you didn't have this to compare it to, you'd still be like, that's the prettiest thing. That's so pretty. But they're just more subtle textures. There's really something to be said for that. Not everybody wants to kind of fight against something that is going for full saturation all the time. I don't consider it to be a fight because it is really, really easy. Her stuff is very, very soft and smooth, and there's technology to the formulas that makes them really easy to apply. But it's just a preference thing. And if I had my druthers, like if I'm picking my favorite between each one, I would say the eyeshadow palettes, I do pick the Cosmetics. I feel like I could get the Makeup by Mario look with the Cosmetics, but it's got a couple more shades in it, and it just does something a little bit extra, a little bit more. As far as the blushes are concerned, I think I'm gonna go with the Cosmetics. I like something that's a little bit more of a hybrid texture, and the way that it goes on as a cream but kind of looks like a powder, I can manipulate that with a little bit of finishing spray or something like that to get it to glow if I want it to and look a little bit dewier. But to me that says that's gonna wear longer, and it's a lot more comfortable. It's just a lot more versatile. If I wanted to take this to more of a powder finish, I would have to powder it. And that is just a little bit like more annoying. Now, talking about powder bronzers, I think that I would go the Makeup by Mario route because it is a matte formula, but it's also super, super sheer. So pretty. I still have absolutely nothing against that blush that she put out. And also, I prefer his cream bronzer because hers has just a touch of glitter to it and it's a little bit more red. I really feel like that's also why we got more saturation on this side, and that's probably just a shade thing, like a shade nuance thing. Makeup by Mario is primarily, you know, exclusive to Sephora. And what I've noticed about a lot of the cream bronzer, cream blushes, a lot of the pigment ranges, Pigment Cosmetics ranges that come out of Sephora like that, you know, like a Fenty or a Rare Beauty or a Makeup by Mario, because they're influenced by the same kind of intelligence informing their decisions and whatnot, these shades will be remarkably similar to each other. You know, it'll have like very, very similar shade ranges, very, very comparable bronzer tones and things like that because it's the same science that's backing it, essentially, the same research. So, Cosmetics being a little bit more independent, I find that her shades are just a little bit different. They're a little bit more nuanced. So there's something definitely to be said for that. I just find personally, I really enjoy the spreadability of his bronzer. I like a sheerer bronzer. And then I also really like that his doesn't have any like shimmer to it at all. And that's really splitting hairs. The lip, Y'all, I do not have a favorite. They're just different enough. I love the plumping quality of Makeup by Mario. I love how easy hers are to apply, and I do feel like hers might be a more subtle shade. I'm not sure. And that's the thing. I think that they are both worth having for me, but like, you guys saw them side by side. You know, if you want the cooler toned one that's plumping, go for the Makeup by Mario. And he also has a lot more shades in that range. She has a lot more shades in this range kind of thing. But like, you can't go wrong. You're not gonna be mad either way. They're very, 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 very pretty, and they're super duper similar. Other than that, do we have any other things? I think that that is it, guys. And I have the happy reward of wearing this look for the rest of the day, minus this crown, because I have a gigantic, mainly the back of my head is huge, so this is actually the least ideal thing I could have done, and it is like a vice grip on my head. I hardly ever wear this one because it's so tight, but I always wear it just in videos, and then by the time I get done filming, I'm like, burn it! My card is full, sorry. Yeah. That's probably my sign to stop jabbering. I hope that you guys found this fun, valuable, and enjoy this face of makeup as much as I do. I love it. I think it's so pretty. I do feel like a prawn sauce today. So yeah, if you did enjoy this, guys, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and thank you for this idea.